Astro fam, I wanted to talk about Uranus moving into Taurus this year. I don't have the exact date memorized, but I can put that in the description, and I believe that it is in May of this year. So it's coming up, and this is really exciting because Uranus takes a very, very long time to shift, over a decade. So it's a really momentous moment in history. And because it takes so long, it really affects us on a generational level and on a global scale. So Uranus has been in Aries for quite some time. And what this has been about is developing our own sense of personal integrity and individuality, and just allowing our voices to be heard and crafting our identities in a really revolutionary way. Much of our focus in terms of innovation and inspiration has been about how to more authentically stand in our own power and be ourselves, and this is incredibly important. So for the last few months that this is here, I would really recommend capitalizing on all of the lessons and wisdoms that Uranus and Aries has to offer. While it's coming to a close, it'll be in the last degrees of it, so that's really kind of the most potent energies, in my opinion, are those transitional stages. So I'm just channeling it in a little bit preliminary, and I will probably talk about this again when it comes closer and while it's happening. I want to do more updates about the outer planets because they're not always shifting, so I don't report about them as much in my forecast, where that's more about like upcoming events and kind of like Mercury, Venus, Mars, and what they're doing, and the sun and the moon. So Uranus and Taurus, to me, the biggest message that comes through is environmental technology. So this is things becoming more eco-friendly, solar power, different kinds of transportation and working on those emissions, laws getting a little bit more grounded in terms of limiting what factories and different companies are allowed to produce and emit into the environment and into our water supply. Recycling is going to take an even bigger role, and there could be innovations in terms of that. I would really, really love to say that 0-point technology comes to a more public awareness. It might not happen, obviously, at the beginning of this shift, but by the end of it, I would really hope that free energy is something that everyone has access to, because it is already in existence, but it is pretty much being safeguarded by the government and people that have their pockets kind of in high physics, but also secrecy. So a lot of this is being kept from us. A lot of it is extraterrestrial knowledge and technology that we have developed or are keeping under wraps. And my hope is that, and what's coming through for me to say, is that Uranus is really going to be very rebellious in making this stuff more aware and more part of our physical reality. I think it's also going to continue the revolution in terms of health and nutrition and taking care of our bodies, and more organic foods, more holistic health options, more eco-friendly farming and consciousness, hopefully more humane practices when it comes to animals. That's one of my biggest hopes and dreams in the world that comes to fruition. So I'm hoping that Uranus and Taurus will really highlight that part that needs to be healed right now, and just better animal rights in general, and allowing us to have freedom over our bodies and what we put into our bodies, because Saturn and Capricorn is here. And so Uranus and Taurus is going to be trining that experience. Not exactly the whole time, of course, but they'll be very complementary. So while Saturn and Capricorn kind of tries to align our laws and our government a little bit better, I'm hoping that Uranus and Taurus injects the fact that we really need more independence in terms of how we're able to obtain food and, you know, use our bodies, and how we respect other life forms and this planet in terms of like nature reservations and stuff like this, you know. Uranus and Taurus is really needed right now, and it's something that feels so beautiful in my heart, and it's something that I am not sure anyone alive right now has ever experienced before, unless maybe they're like 100 years old. So it's really fresh and innovative and very, very healing is what's coming through for me. Uranus can be sort of chaotic at times. For lack of a better word, it sometimes wants change for change's sake, and maybe it's a rebel without a cause. But when you put Taurus there, it becomes very fixated and very grounded and very real. And while Uranus has been in Aries, the changes that have happened might have been very energetic or action-based, or decisions that you made, or, you know, revelations about yourself and your ego and how you're expressing yourself. Uranus and Taurus is going to make real structural changes in the world that we will be able to experience physically. So that's awesome, in my opinion. And we've got Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn that will be trining with this energy. And I really feel like Saturn, Pluto, and Uranus all being in Earth signs, all complementing each other, is going to really help us physically restructure our reality, and help us create it in a way that is more bountiful and fruitful and in alignment with the planet and the Earth, and what we're resonating inside of our bodies, and just respecting other people and their boundaries, and using law and structure and power and change and these very fundamental aspects of our society for a more positive and grounded purpose. So I'm honestly really, really looking forward to this experience. It's something that will make a really huge shift in our consciousness, and it will be felt by everybody. Whether you study or astrology or not, it doesn't matter. These things are still experienced, they're still noticed, and they still happen. Studying it only gives you more conscious awareness of it, and it allows you to align yourself with it if you choose to, and it gives you a little bit more power and malleability in terms of how you want to experience these planetary alignments. So yeah, I'm really loving the energy of this as I'm channeling it. It feels really amazing. It feels so healing. I know I've already said that, and I don't want to repeat myself anymore, but just love for the planet and recognizing that we have been birthed from Gaia, and it is our responsibility to walk upon this planet with the intention of giving back and loving and healing and respecting everything about life, really. So I'm hoping that that's all coming through for you guys. I will make another update when it comes closer to the shift, and I'm sure I will be talking about that in my May forecast and detail when it's aspecting other planets directly and the exact dates for those, because those will be pretty significant. Though I'm sure that Uranus will be here until something like 2030. So you've got a lot of time to process the information coming through, and I'm not even sure how it will eventually manifest, but at the beginning stages and formulating, it's really, really beautiful. So I hope that you guys are looking forward to this. Also, I have my Uranus in Capricorn, so this will be trining my natal Uranus, and really, I think that will be true for a lot of people my age. I'm 24. You know, us millennials, this is a pretty important shift, so I would definitely pay attention to how it affects you. I would pay attention to where Uranus is in your chart and what house it's in and what other planets it's intermingling with, because all of those are going to be really important factors for the next while. You know, it'll probably start shifting again by the time many of us have our Saturn returns for the first time, and life is just really building in an incredible way. So I want to send a lot of peace and harmony and gentleness to everyone out there that's watching this right now. There's a lot going on, and we're being very patient and very strong, in my opinion. We're all spiritual warriors, I believe, to a degree, that are alive at this time. And we're putting in the work no matter what we're doing. Just by existing and putting our vibrations out there, we're really doing our part. So I just want to send gratitude out to everyone who's alive right now, honestly, and doing their part in the collective consciousness. So if you guys would want to check out my website, I would love that. I'm going to put that in the description. It's indigohealing.online. There's a menu that should take you to a bunch of different pages. I am aiming for this to be a source of information and to be able to provide my services in a more structured way for anyone that needs them. So if you resonate with that, please check me out. It's a WordPress website, so if you are using that format, I'm sure that you can look it up on an app or follow me through that. Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys soon.